the discrepancies that have come up from what the National Assembly, the harmonized bill of the National Assembly, that's from both the Senate and from the House of Representatives, and the gazetted, that is the one signed into law that the country will now have to follow. There's so much discrepancies between both of them. And Abdul Samad Dasuki, PDP senator from Sokoto, or rather PDP House of Rep member from Sokoto, pointed that out on the floor of the Green Chamber. Now, joining me to talk about this on the legal implications is Barrister Chibueze Maduka. He's a corporate and commercial lawyer. Good morning, Barrister.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. He's joining us virtually here in Abuja. Now, Barrister, I'm sure you've come across the stories and all the different issues about this. Now, as a person who is in this sector having to deal with commercial corporate law, what can you tell us about what these discrepancies, the implications it means?
Okay, thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity, and it's always a pleasure to be here. I think it was a shock. I was in Calabar when I read the news and I saw the story. So first, we have to understand when we talk about the gazetted copy, what a gazetted copy actually means vis-a-vis what the National Assembly passed. So that will create more clarity and for you to understand the importance of the alarm being raised by Honorable Dasuki. First, we have to get to the point that when we talk of a gazetted copy, the Evidence Act provides that when you want to prove that something is the official document of the government, you can only prove that through the gazetted copy. So a gazetted copy is an official publication of government that this is a true state of affairs, is what they believe things should be, what it is. So the international community doesn't know what our new tax laws are. They won't be going to the new assembly to find what was passed. They would want to look at the gazetted copy, which is what most people are buying, and that's where the honorable was, what the alarm was raising, that he bought this copy and he was surprised to see that all of us will not go to the National Assembly to pick up a copy. All of us will be looking at what is the gazetted copy which is being sold out there. So it's very important, because if you look at some of these discrepancies and if it's contrary to what the National Assembly passed, then there is a big problem, and it's something I believe that should be resolved before the law takes effect.
Okay, so now there are quite a few of them. There's a document out there. The Daily Trust was able to tabulate these things out for us. We want to just stick to one, which is the under section 29, subsection 1, and that's under the new tax administration bill. It says that under what the National Assembly signed, provided for annual returns thresholds for individuals, it is 50 million naira, corporates 250 million naira. Required data includes the names, customer location, and transactions and all that. However, the gazetted copy provided for quarterly returns and thresholds changed to individuals 25 million naira, corporates 100 million naira, and the required data has been narrowed to names and addresses. Now, if I understand clearly, what we've been told is that annual returns I believe should be of 100 million. But help us best understand what this actually means and why we should be worried about this change.
So I'll start with, I had a conversation with a friend, and he has read the gazetted copy, and he was alarmed that we are being chargeable quarterly based on how much you make daily. Whereas originally what the National Assembly did was annually. So he's already creating alarm, because people are going to feel or get the belief that it's quarterly, that they will be taxed on based on what you make quarterly. According to what he said, the bank will withdraw whatever is supposed to be your tax and will meet to the relevant tax authority. So whereas what the National Assembly passed was humane, so to say, was pro people, so to say, what the gazetted copy takes a totally different direction. So we are not looking at quarterly, we're not looking at a reduction of the threshold that's against an increment in that particular threshold, which would have favored the people. And this is important because if you look at the relevant sections on lawmaking, I think section 58, section 59, which provides the steps of law, the law should be made. The National Assembly will pass the law, both houses pass the law, and it's taken back to the president for assent. If the president has anything, or the executive in this case has anything they want to add, to include anything that they are not comfortable with, they're meant to make their recommendations and return it back to the National Assembly for the National Assembly either improve on it or to now pass a two-third majority of the joint house. That's what the law provides. So let's believe that this is an honest mistake. So I just want to believe it's an honest mistake, although the wide differences does not give room to have that set of belief. So what is in the gazetted copy? Looking at the section you just pointed out, and there are so many sections that I also saw, some of them that made provisions. The one passed by the National Assembly talk about oversight functions over the tax authority, and then we see that in the gazetted copy, those things have been yanked off. And I think there's great room for concern in this regard.
The front page of the Daily Trust yesterday, right there, top story was the fact that I'm looking for that. It says that the act allows for them to, do what they have to do, but there was no arrests in the National Assembly past one. However, in the one that has been gazetted, the NRS has the right to arrest people. Now, that's a change. What does this actually, mean or tell? Like right there on the screen, we see that showing for us now discrepancies between the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill. Now, if you can see that there's so many things happening, as I said, provided for quarterly returns and threshold. For the funding part of the board of the Joint Tax Board, let's go back to that. That'll be number 2. We see that it says that the funding should come from consolidated revenue, something as what the National Assembly passed. However, the gazetted copy is saying that the funding comes from appropriation from the National Assembly. What does that actually mean? And that we'll round up on that note.
See, I think the point is, it's not about what is there or what is not there. I think shouldn't be our concern at the moment. Our major concern most likely would be on the unconstitutionality of this all. Like I mentioned, section 58, 59 has provided how law should be passed. And these things matter. For example, we talked about this. They matter a great deal because the National Assembly is there to protect our interests. They represent us. There's a reason why they have public hearings. There's a reason why they go back and consult with their constituents. So it is deemed that what the National Assembly passed is what the people want to see in their laws. If we say that, we want the funding to come from the consolidated, and then what the executive or whatever mistake that is done is now talking of the appropriation, or if we say no, we don't want these people to have powers of arrest, and then what we're seeing in the gazetted copy saying that they can now, in that case, that can ask any agency that has an arresting power to arrest somebody when they suspect you of having violated the tax laws. And this is a great cause for concern. It's like we always say, it now seems like the voice of Jacob and the hand of Esau, or somebody has played a fast one on us. So personally, in my opinion, I would want to say that we should suspend this law and to ensure that both the legislature and executive consolidate to be sure what the National Assembly passed is what that we are going to buy on the streets.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Barrister Maduka, for your insights on the discrepancies and issues with the tax law.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.